Hey everybody, so we have some major injury news to talk about regarding the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, there are a number of players and important players who are out injured already this season, but Pittsburgh has been hit hard just in the first week of the season. Evgeni Malkin and Nick Bjugstad, their second and third line centers, are both expected to be out long-term with injuries just a couple games into the season. So this is a big hit to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Losing, their two middle-of-the-lineup centers like that is a very, very difficult thing to deal with and really takes a big hit to their lineup. Let's see. Malkin's injury is expected to sideline him longer than Bjugstad's. Darren Drager reported that Malkin's injury is a soft tissue injury and that he's expected to be out around a month. So we're looking at about a month for Evgeni Malkin to be out. Bjugstad, I guess, is less than that, but still kind of a week-to-week situation. So they're both expected to be out a decent amount of time, and that's going to be tough. That is going to be tough for Pittsburgh to deal with. Now, Pittsburgh's got a talented roster. They've got a pretty good lineup, but anytime you lose your second and third line center at the same time, I mean, that's a massive, massive hit. So when we look up the depth chart here, using Cap Friendly for Pittsburgh, obviously there are massive holes there in that second and third line center spots. So with Malkin out, Jared McCann is expected to slot in as the second line center. He's been, I think, mostly playing wing since coming over to Pittsburgh, but with the injury to Malkin, he moves up and moves to the middle. So he'll play with Alex Galchenyuk and Brandon Tanev, who had been playing with Evgeni Malkin. And we'll see McCann. McCann's an interesting player because at times he shows flashes of being really, really good, and then other times he kind of disappears a little bit. He's only 23. This is a big spot for him. He's got 2 goals already on the season, but now he's going to get a serious top 6 role and going to have to somewhat carry the offense a little bit. I mean, obviously Crosby's still the number one, and he's up there with playing with Gensel. But, McCann's going to have to take on a much bigger role now with Malkin out, assuming he's the one that slides to the middle. And that moves the third line now. That moves Teddy Bluger up to be presumably the third line center, which he's, I think, much more suited for a fourth line role. But they have him moving up to the third line. And Sam Lafferty and Andrew Agazzino both have been called up from Wilkes-Barre Scranton in the AHL to come up and take these roster spots. Dominic Cahoon looks like to be the guy who's taking McCann's spot on the third line when McCann moves up. So this is a big injury issue This is a big-time injury issue for Pittsburgh early on in this season. That is 2 important players out, missing significant time for the Penguins. Brian Rust also is out. He's been out already. But add Malkin and Bjugstad to that list as well. And you've got some big, important players out of the lineup for the Pittsburgh Penguins early this season. And it's going to be interesting to see how they overcome this. Now, luckily for Pittsburgh, their upcoming schedule, at least for the next few games, isn't that bad. They've got Winnipeg twice, and you guys know how I feel about Winnipeg with all that they've lost this offseason. I think that those are still winnable games. They've got Anaheim, who overall is actually off to a decent start, but I don't think is that great of a team. And then Minnesota, who hasn't won a game yet. So the next 4 games aren't overly difficult games, but beyond that, they have Colorado after Winnipeg for the second time, and I don't know their schedule beyond that. But these are long-term injuries. So while the next 5 games don't look too bad, Malkin and Bjugstad are going to be out beyond that. So they're going to have to pull something together here. It's going to be interesting to see how they look. Now, they are a talented team. They do absolutely have the lineup in the roster to be able to overcome this. If they can just play 500 hockey this month and then really take off when those two come back, they can still be in good shape and still be one of the top teams in the Metropolitan Division. But it is a big loss to lose your second and third line center at the same time. That's a lot to deal with, and it's going to be interesting to see how Pittsburgh plays without those two. Malkin's a guy who's had injury issues in the past, and Pittsburgh's been able to play well without him. But normally you would have your third line center there to step up and take over that second line spot. Now they lose both at the same time. That's a little bit bigger of an issue than I think even what the Penguins are used to dealing with. So, we're just going to have to wait and see how they look. But this is a big injury problem early on in the season for the Penguins. We'll see if they can overcome it. Hopefully it doesn't completely ruin their season in the first month, and that's pretty hard to do. They would really have to lose a lot of games in a row for their season to be kind of severely damaged this early. But I guess it is possible. But we'll see what they look like. I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be able to overcome this. And again, all they have to do is kind of play 500-ish hockey for the next month. And then, they'll still be in decent enough shape to where they can take off when Malkin and Bjugstad come back and move themselves up the standings. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.